Hey guys, it's Susan Caroline here, and today we're going to be talking about leveling up your life for 2025. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 25, 35, 45, or almost 55 like me. We are going to be rebranding ourselves and leveling ourselves up for 2025 and not allowing this old version of ourselves to draw us back. Now listen, I know what that's like because I have these versions of me, and one of them wants to pull me back and go, oh no, that's not you, you know, that you can never be that. And that's the person that we're not going to listen to. And I know we all have these different things. We have to think, okay, what is the highest and best version of myself? And I am going to step into that. And I know that we can do this any time of the year. So if you're listening to this and it's past New Year's, that doesn't mean that it's too late. It's never too late, okay? So I want you to stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to share a little technique which I use, which really helps me. It's like simple and it's a childlike, but I'm telling you about shifting realities. This has really helped me. It's kind of like this little tweak in your mind. So stay tuned to the end because I'm going to be sharing that. So when we think about leveling up in our life, we all have different areas of our life that we want to change in. So if you have a pen or paper right now, or wherever you are, I want you to really start thinking about this because I'm going to go over a few different areas in our life. Because if we're going to rebrand ourselves, I want you to think about what is this rebranded version of you really truly look like in all the areas of your life. So let's start off with the mental area, with your moods, with your emotional moods, your mental area, right? What is this new version of yourself? What do you want to look like in the next year? What kind of emotions do you want to embody? Like joy, enthusiasm? Do you want to be more excited, more charismatic? What kind of emotions and moods do you want to have? Now, over the next few days, right before that we go into New Year, I want you to really start keeping tabs on your moods. I have done this. I've started off in the following morning. I've looked back and I think, okay, the day before, what was my mood like starting in the morning, right? And then in the afternoon, and then in the evening. And we can often see, our moods are always shifting and changing. But if we can start to say, now, these are the states of being, these are the moods, these are the emotions that I want to feel, and start scripting that into your life, that is going to really help you rebrand rather than going on autopilot. Think, okay, these are the moods, these are some of the emotions that I want to feel each day. Write them down. Start making a clear vision for yourself of different moods and different emotions that you want to feel. And yes, emotions come and go. But when you start to see, oh, they are changing, and I can choose by what I'm thinking about to change my moods, because really, so much of our emotions, they come from what we've been dwelling upon in our minds, okay? So again, thinking about what moods you want to embody and what things you want to be thinking about. So we're thinking about good things, we're going to have good emotions, okay? So start thinking, what kind of emotions do I want to embody in the new year? The next thing is the physical version of you. What does a physical version of you look like, okay? Like, how do they hold themselves? So they kind of like slump down right now and you're just kind of like, or think about how you want to be, how you're holding your body. What do you look like? What kind of energy are you giving off? Because you can choose to change that by, again, the assumptions that you're making about yourself. Does a new version of yourself, are they a yoga person? Do they go to the gym? Do they go for walks? Start scripting that. Start building this new version of who that you want to become. Because when you start actually creating your life and actually putting some framework around it and making these things become a reality, you have to, it's all, just don't do it haphazardly. When we sculpt something, we can have a click, just like any great sculptor, right? Rather than just start chiseling away, they can see in the stone, the person that they want to bring out in their sculpture. In the same way, when we start actually having a vision for our life and start sculpting our life that way, it's going to become a lot more real rather than just randomly chiseling away and not really knowing what we're doing. So thinking about, you've got your moods, you've got your physicality. How are you eating? Are you eating healthily? What are you doing? Okay. Start having that too. Thinking, am I the kind of person who like eats healthily, or I'm going to keep eating this junk food all the time? And start building this version. At the same time, financially, where do you want to be? Are you a spender? Do you want to save money? You're going to start investing. Start writing that down. Start assuming that this is the new person that you want to be. The same with your relationships. What kind of relationships do you want to have? You're going to have relationships that are draining you, or you want to level up and be around whole new people, and allowing the bridge of incidents, these different things that happen in our life, to bring new people into our life, and expecting new people to come into your life. There's so many areas when you start sculpting this new version of yourself. It's amazing how if you start writing it down and making it plain, it's going to start showing up in your life. I promise you, I've done that in my life. I've actually scripted out a whole thing of different areas in my life that I wanted what they to look like. And when I've started to think about them and dwell upon them, it's amazing how they start to show up in my life. So we have just a few more days just to rebrand and level ourselves up to where we want to go, to what we want to be. And you can do it. I want you to think about, I'm not going to negotiate myself anymore and say, well, I think I'm going to do that. No, you have to say, that is non-negotiable in my life. I am going to become this person this year. I'm not going to wait for another year and be at the end of 2025 and say, oh, I wish I'd done that. No, listen, you are always creating by the thoughts that you think. When you start to think about who you are, you're going to start putting off all these different vibrations out into the universe just by what you're embodying. So if you want to embody a new state, you have to think about each of these areas and think about what you want to embody in each one of these areas. Now, a trick that I found, which I like to use, it's thinking about shifting into a whole new reality and to become a new person, right? So what I've done before, I remember, I'll tell you a little story. My husband and I think it was the beginning of this year, he has his own business, and for a while it seemed that work had really dried up, and we're just walking down the road. And I said to him, you know what, we're going to imagine, you see that curve in the sidewalk right there? And he's like, yeah. I said, we're going to imagine that as we go round that curve, that it looks like the same street, right? It looks totally normal, but it's not. It's a whole different street. It's in a different reality. It's in a reality where the phone is ringing off the hook. So we're walking along with our little dog, Magic, and as we went through that, I said, okay, we're almost there. We're almost to that curve. And I counted down 3, 2, 1. And as we stepped around that curve and that sidewalk, both of us imagined that we were in this whole new reality. It looked the same, but we had shifted into a different timeline where the phone was ringing off the hook. Now, I kid you not, when we got home, he started to get emails, he started to get calls, things started to happen in his business. He was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And it's the same way. So if you are here right now, you're watching this, you're thinking about these different areas right in your life that you want to level up in, I want you to set a time that this is your time to get ready. This is your time to sculpt. This is a time to rebrand, to think about who you're really becoming. And then as we go to the end of the year, December the 31st, or whenever you want to do it, you can make a time when you step into the threshold and you are in that reality, that this is who you are, that you're embodying it. It's kind of like running through the finish line. So, this is your time to sculpt, to get things ready. And as you're going into 2025, maybe at the stroke of midnight, like Cinderella, but the opposite way, rather than turning into a pumpkin, you're literally rebranding yourself, and you have become that person. You have embodied it. It's kind of like gearing up, and you can get excited, ready to go. So I want you to think about this, about how as the clock strikes midnight on December the 31st, and we step into a whole new year, that you are embodied everything that you wrote down, but for your mindset, your emotions, your finances, your physicality, your relationships, everything, your spirituality, all these things that you've written down, right? That as you fall asleep that night, that you're going to wake up that morning in 2025, and that is who you are. So I hope that encourages you today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you too for all my new subscribers. As I said, my videos, I just literally shoot them off the cuff, so to speak, speaking from my heart. And I want to thank each one of you who are on here. And if you like my vibe and you like to subscribe, I'd love to have you along for this journey. If not, maybe I'll see you on another video. But until then, this is Susan, and I want to remind you that the power to transform your life is already within you. See you soon. Bye.